Hi, and welcome to House of City, the advisory network. I just wanted to welcome you to who we are and just thank you for your time today. Whether you are a lone wolf business owner, aspiring business owner, or a fully staffed corporation, we are here to help you. The neat thing about us is that we are all about the personalized experience. We want to make sure that you don't feel like there's distance between me and you. Whether you are working directly with me or you're working with some of the wonderful, talented people in our network, we want to make sure that you are feeling like you are getting a personalized and customized experience and you feel like you are the extraordinary person that you are. Now, what we strive to do here is to do what we can to serve our clients or even anyone really to help them to get to where they're trying to go. We here believe that every single person on this earth is extraordinary. And a lot of us are trying to figure out how to walk that path. And from the many years of experience we all have here, we realize that sometimes it helps to have somebody there to come along to kind of lend their resources to bolster what you're doing. And we just love to serve. I mean, at the heart of everything, we love to serve. So, how can we serve you? There are so many ways that I could talk about what we do, flyers, brochures, bullet list. I mean, and we have those things, just definitely if you want to request it. But at the end of the day, I mean, I want you to see the essence of what you can expect with working with us to see if we would make, good a good team and if there is good synergy and chemistry. That is the most important thing. If you don't feel comfortable with who you're working with, then it's not going to produce fruitful results. And we would rather not have that. We'd rather make sure that you are in a relationship and a partnership that you can feel confident in and that you feel like the work that you're doing produces amazing and wonderful fruit. So, how can we help you bring good fruit? So, I was trying to figure out kind of how to start this because ultimately you guys are getting a sense of who we are here and really who I am. There's two of us who head it up and we have many who work with us who bring so many different flavors in this beautiful tapestry that we're creating because everyone is different, everyone's needs are different, and even more than that, where they are at in their life can produce differences. Where one person would be great down the road, another person could be great, or they might flip flop. I mean, it's amazing, and we are flexible. So we figured we'd start at the beginning. Me, I am the encourager, I'm the optimist, and I am the partier. I am the one who loves people, and I love to bring that into connectivity between organizations and within organizations. Um, After doing what I've been doing for many years and working with people for many many years, you tend to hear things, and if you pay attention, there tends to be kind of a common thread of what you'll hear. And for me, what I hear is light and peace and party. And so what that means is that a lot of times one of the gifts that I bring to clients is um, the ability for reconciliation and peace, a peace of mind, peace within their corporate community or within um, whatever it is they're trying to do. I'm able to come in and bring peace through the giftings that I have and the training that I've received to hone those gifts. With light, I bring joy. I bring joy to the table, and I just love to see spirits lifted. We all have our gifts, and that is mine, and I love to share it. I love to share it to whomever would like to receive it. And a lot of times, joy, optimism, and encouragement can be an amazing tool, and it is transferable, my friends, just like data. It is data, emotional data, that can get transferred to those who are open for that, and it allows them to plug into their creativity and come up with solutions. So I am here for that as well. And as far as party goes, is I love to come and bring my energy. There's enthusiasm. I hear that word and energy, which is also transferable. So I love to bring that to every situation, and it definitely will lift the spirit, lift the mood of the place. So whatever situation that might be, I say party, but I have brought this enthusiasm into corporate environments. I've brought it into party environments. I've brought it into networking environments. I mean, you name it, it can be translated into that. And I would love to talk more about that. But this is kind of a taste of what to expect with the feel. So my goal in this video is to give you a feel of what you can expect. And it goes from the top down and around. So what you see here will be the standard that you will see everywhere. It will be different types of people and flavors, and we will match that up depending on what you're looking for and what you need. But ultimately, the missional values will, the mission and the values and the vision will all be synergetic with who we are as the founders of this company that has been growing. So the first thing I want to talk about, and we'll keep this short because I know you guys have plenty of things that you need to do, but I just, wanted to bring a little bit in there, and we can always talk in depth and more. So what can you expect? And from a variety of you guys who would be watching this, let's talk with foundation. With anything you have, anything that is personal or business, there's always some sort of foundation. And a lot of times we kind of forget that. And we get kind of sometimes very much pulled into the details, pulled into the next thing, which is also very important, that we forget that what we're pulling into is actually being put on top of a foundation. So I've got a great visual aid. I'm all about the visual aids because I'm a visual person. So let's say you start your business and you guys are here. This is your business and you're excited about it and you are here and you are ready to build. And the amazing thing is this is great. This is great for what you have next. So, let's say, within 5 years you are here. Well, that is wonderful, right? I mean, you are supported, you're good, you're grounded. And in this place, maybe you've gathered more employees. Maybe you have incorporated some more departments, depending on what you're doing. Maybe you used to outsource your, for example, HR, and now you have brought it in-house because of the amount of employees that you have. So your current foundation supports that, which is great, right? So the amazing thing about business is that it can be very exponential depending on how you do it, which is awesome. So it can seem kind of incremental, and then over time it grows. So, in 5 years, this is a pretty decent amount of growth. You have essentially almost tripled where you were at in your growth. And this supports that. So when you start talking about exponential growth, and I'm going to bring in technology because this is a very good example of that, is you start thinking about internet security. You start thinking about bringing in a technological team to support any software, depending on who your clients are, and then the tech support for that, and then the infrastructure for that, and then the servers for that, and then the team to manage that, and then people who do, if you have a database, and then you have the teams to do that. So, before you know it, your amazing company now looks like this. And that's great. But when we set this down, and I won't do this here, but when we set this down, we all know it's going to happen, right? And so what's next? Well, one of the things that we do is for companies, especially here where we are at now, in a lot of startup communities, is that you have companies that essentially grow like this, that they are, in upward movement and not as much outward movement, which is great. And we come in and kind of fill in the gap, and we say, okay, guys, we come in, we assess, and we talk to you, and we kind of do discovery. So it's something that we partner together with. We don't come in and kind of tell you. We come in and we talk, and we communicate together. And so when we decide or discover that this is kind of where we're at, oftentimes what we have seen with businesses that we've worked with is that all of their resources are in keeping this structure going, because everything's been built, and it's really hard to pull any resources to come back down and create a foundational structure at the bottom here with integrity to hold all of this. So a lot of times this kind of gets neglected, and eventually you start having problems that happen. So what we like to do is we come in with our services and we say, okay, guess what? What we're going to do is we're going to come in based on doing a discovery process with you and start filling in your foundation here so that you don't have to worry about, you can still continue going up, and we'll come in and build in a foundation so that you can move out. Sometimes we will add on to here, and sometimes you might take away and put something else in there. either way, you're not having to take away from what you're doing here in order to support your structure here. So what we would do in this situation is we would do a discovery process with you, and in that, and that could be through marketing, that could be through developing, getting rid of your technical debt, but we would come in with a foundation and put it in here so that whenever you set down your look at your structure, now you can support what you're building without having taken resources from what you're doing to bring in a foundational structure. So that's kind of a visual aid of what we do. So that kind of give you an idea of what that is. Now, what does that look like? I mean, that could be us coming in and resolving technical debt for those of you that have a software team, or coming in and helping to kind of secure your software team if you have one or don't have one, or bringing in one if you want to contract one. I mean, we are here to fill in needs. So that you're not having to take away from your current plan and your current strategy to do that. I had a conversation recently with a person who was trying to figure out if they wanted to move servers from what they do in-house to another company, which is huge right now, on a cloud. And that's definitely a very widely used word. And we'd be surprised that a lot of times people don't understand. They heard cloud, they know what it is maybe personally, but it's quite a very wide variety topic. And so this is something that we can bring education and understanding on to see that, does it relate to you? Is this something that you might want to look at in 2 or 3 years down the road, or later or sooner? It's very important, just as an example, and this is not a real world, but this is an example of how this works. Let's say your current structure might not last within the current server, let's say if you have one on site. Well, let's say when you realize it's time to roll things over, a lot of times if you don't give yourself the period of time between transferring it onto, for example, a cloud service, or putting the resources into growing what you have in site, that can put down or cause a breakdown into your data processes that happen. So if you have clients that rely on their information being computed and sent to them, that would slow down or stop that process. And a lot of times that stops then their process, and it becomes a very, very strong chain reaction that can cause some unhappy clients and possibly break down in contracts. So we come in to offer, kind of bolster what you have, bring education there, bring some speculation, partner with you to find out what's going to make you ready for what's going on, so that what's coming doesn't surprise you. You're ready for it. You have a plan in place, and it's something that everyone is comfortable with. So that's an example of how we come in and do that. One of the various ways that we partner with you is through conversations. So that can be through consulting, or that could be through advising or coaching. Depending on your preference, we go through all of that with you. We tell you about what it's like. You can try it out. We have this available to you. The cool thing about those conversations is what we use to aid in the discovery process, right? And so an example, for example, of something that we would talk with a client about is delegating or contracting out. Companies that are certain sizes sometimes are finding that they're having to use a lot of their manpower internally, and it kind of is stunting their growth. And so for clients like that, we would come in and talk about the option of delegating or contracting out. Give you a great example of this. This is Fui. And Fui is really, really, really good at administrative tasks. He's so good at it. And me, I mean, I can do administrative tasks, but I am really good at higher level processing and thinking. And I can spend time doing administrative tasks and the higher level thinking, but let's say that takes quite a bit of my time to do that. So let's say I call up Fui and I say, hey, Fui, you are so good at these tasks. You are quick at it. It gives you energy. It does not drain you. So how about you come on board? We'll contract you out, and you'll take care of the administrative tasks. And that frees up, let's say, 50% of my time to focus on the things that give me energy. And so now I am functioning at a higher capacity and able to bring in whatever resources. Let's say it's people, or let's say it's ideas, or let's say it's ideas for clients, which is something that I do specialize in, problem solving and coming up with out-of-the-box ideas for clients. So if I freed up my administrative tasks for Fui to do, then that leaves me time. So one of the things that I want to do is more time to come up with plans and strategies that are out of the box and unique for each individual client. So that is kind of an example of something that we would do as well. The other thing we do is marketing, and that is such a huge word. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because we can go zoom in essentially to any one of marketing topics. But the big ones that I want to address is social media, networking, community involvement, which can kind of go with networking, but more like corporate responsibility, and as well as internal and external events. So these are all ways of marketing. And one of the things that we specialize in is crafting. Like we would come, do a discovery process again through a conversation that you would pick and what you would want, and we would figure out what works for you and your goals. And then I would kind of lend expertise, examples, even research and experience to figure out what's going to work for you. And then we come up with something that is very much specialized to you. And we bring our gifts, resources, connections in to aid you in doing that. Remember that foundation. We come in and bolster your foundation so that you're able to do more and use what you have to do, what you're already doing, or even delegating what you're doing so that you can do more of what you'd rather be doing. And then we put it all together, and now you're more of a powerhouse. So we come in to kind of lend you our wheelhouse to make you a powerhouse, right? And so one of the things I love to do, and I highly recommend this to my clients, is face-to-face marketing is just going to always be best when you can do that. It really is. We can talk about that metrics details later, but ultimately it's better. And a lot of times, if you want a wow factor, then it's really great to look at your audience, right? I mean, you can put all this in, but it doesn't help unless you know what your audience wants. So I have an audience here. So here is your audience. I don't know if you see these guys here. There's all kinds of people in there with all kinds of preferences and all kinds of stuff that they want. And a really good marketing strategy is going to accommodate as much of that in the variety as possible, but with the limited strain on resources and a maximizing of efficiency. So that's what we come in and we come up with a plan. So what wow factors do you need? And we're not saying just buzz wow factors, but actual rooted, grounded wow factors that are signature to who you are as a company, because people can tell when something is transparent and genuine right off the bat. So whatever you do is going to need to reflect who you are, and that is more conversations that we can bring in, and expertise and understanding that we can bring in our conversations in our discovery process, which is so fun. And so I highly recommend when we're talking about marketing. So when we craft need from whatever your desired audience is, let me show you the audience again because they're awesome. From your audience, from there, and from your goals and who your company is, and what your company represents and your company goals, from there, it trickles down and we figure out what does your internet strategy look like? What does your face-to-face look like? What does your community involvement look like? What does your networking look like? This is each one has its own kind of set of things we could talk about, but this kind of just gives you an idea of what we do and how we think. And we want to make sure that what we do is very much specific and customized to you, because that's the only way it's going to work. Doing what other people do, I mean, I think it's great to get some ideas, but it's always great to make it signaturely you, because then it's going to be memorable. Then people are going to gush and talk about it. And like I said, when it's face to face, when you have connected with the person in a way that they feel like they know you personally, then they are going to just talk about you like they are essentially free advertising. And I mean, that is brilliant. It really is. So that's another conversation we can have, but you could take that and translate to all of the areas of marketing. And always, we love to say yes. So if we don't have it in our wheelhouse, we kind of want to be a hub that helps to bolster. Like I said, we bring our wheelhouse to make you a powerhouse. So we'll bring in whatever it is you need, depending on where you are in your journey as a business. So that kind of talks about a bit about marketing and what you can expect with that. Now, back to the great conversations, coaching, advising, consulting. One of the ways that can really be utilized, and if you're familiar with, and if you're a bigger corporation or have worked for other corporations, you might have had internal or external coaches come in, or consultants, depending on what's going on. So a consultant is going to be an expert-based person. A coach is going to kind of come in and use their skills and intuition to kind of partner with you for you to kind of pull out. You're the expert essentially. Pull out your what you're wanting to have. It's an amazing process, both of them. So we can use this depending on what your needs are to come in. And for example, if you've got low morale or you want to keep morale high, based on conversations we have, whether with you or with your team or whomever, these things can kind of be cultivated based on what it is that everyone's wanting to accomplish. So keep in mind, like I said, we are here to serve you and serve your goals and needs. So these different tools that we have in our wheelhouse essentially are there to serve, and it can be put together and fashioned and organized and then made custom just for you. They can even be modularized and built customly for you. We have someone who specializes in tech. There's a lot of companies who have tech teams on site, as well as companies who would like to contract out tech teams, or companies who would like to hire tech teams and would like some consulting and or coaching in making that happen and understanding kind of things that they can avoid. We have a lot of experience with startups and tech teams. And so if you have one in sight, we would love to talk with you about what we can do, how we can serve you so that everyone is happy as best we can and everything is functioning well and no one's losing contracts. And the lines of communication are open and everybody understands what they need to understand to really efficiently and effectively do what they are doing, as well as enjoying it while they're doing it. So that was a kind of refresher, very quick talk about what we can offer. Like I said, we love to say yes when we can. So if there's something that I didn't touch on, something that you might have come to mind that you would like to see if we do, please let us know. We can provide you with brochures and presentations if you'd like. Not everybody likes that, but we thought, hey, why not that you meet me? Hello. And give you a little bit of an understanding of kind of the culture and what we have and what we can bring to the table. We want to meet with you. One of the goals we have is that even if we don't work together, we want to connect with you. We love being in the community and we love to serve the businesses in our communities. And so if I can take what I know about you and I meet someone over here and I see the two of you might be able to make beautiful music together, I want to know what I need to know about you so that I can connect you to. So minimally, I want to make sure that I know how I can serve you in this community. I love working with various nonprofits and all of that, and would love to point you in the direction of serving if that is something that you want to do, which is something that we also can offer with the corporate responsibility. And that's a whole conversation that we can have. And I know that's kind of a really big, very growing thing that a lot of companies are looking at doing, as well as outside networking, which we also can offer representatives to kind of go out and network for you. So the possibilities really are endless, and we are really here to serve. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure that any conversation we have, whatever happens after, if it's just a, hey, let's keep in touch, or a, hey, thanks for this, I want to make sure it is a value to you. So just know that our goal is to make sure that you walk away from anything that you do with us feeling like one of your needs are met and it was a value to you. So again, we are here to serve, and we just love that you're here. Connect with us in whatever way you feel like you need to, and we will hopefully see you soon.